Can you believe it? Hundreds of classic Dodge Chargers worth a fortune were destroyed right on set just to complete this movie. Even more shocking, there were serious accidents, even taking the life of a crew member right on the set. And that is still nothing among the 10 facts hidden behind the legendary TV series The Dukes of Hazzard, one of the most iconic television series in America. Do not take your eyes off the screen, because this video will reveal all the behind-the-scenes secrets that this show has hidden for over 40 years. 1. More than 300 Dodge Chargers were destroyed during filming. General Lee, the orange 1969 Dodge Charger, was not only the soul of the Dukes of Hazzard, it was also a victim worn out mercilessly. Seven seasons, more than 300 classic cars, each now worth $200,000 to $300,000 USD if in original condition, were thrown into relentless action scenes one after another, jumping over broken bridges, taking off from dirt embankments, crashing through wooden fences, flying over rivers like rockets, and ending in collisions that twisted every sheet of metal. To put it into perspective, the current value of the destroyed cars alone equals a fleet of Ferrari supercars or dozens of houses in the American Midwest. People still think those action stunts were just safe performances, but in reality, each jump was almost a death sentence for the car. The chassis bent, the suspension shattered, axles deformed beyond recognition. The fiery steeds a moment ago became piles of scrap metal lying silently in the junkyard the next moment. The Charger supply depleted so quickly that the crew had to hunt them like treasure hunters. They wanted to buy notes on the windshield of any Charger seen on the street. They pulled rusted car bodies from junkyards, patched them roughly, just to throw them into a single shot, then abandon them. At that time, no one imagined each Charger would become a collectible treasure. But now, looking back, it is hard to believe they turned over 300 treasures worth nearly 70 million USD into ashes, just to capture a few seconds of spectacular footage. And that is only the tip of the iceberg. Behind the camera, there was an even higher price, one that cannot be measured in money. A price paid in human lives. 2. Real accidents and casualties behind the scenes.
Oh, look out!
In August 1980, the set of The Dukes of Hazzard suddenly fell into deadly silence, not because the director shouted cut, but because a human life lay among mud and twisted steel. Rodney Mitchell, assistant cameraman, died after a truck carrying equipment lost control, ran off the road and flipped over. He was trapped under the vehicle, no one could react in time. It was not a scene. No actors, no effects, just a pure accident, and terrifying enough that many people left the set immediately. Several stuntmen refused to continue, and the atmosphere on set was thick with tension. According to those present, everyone froze, unable to believe that a normal shoot had claimed a life. Previously, the Dukes of Hazzard had been famous for real risk in every action scene. No CGI, no miniatures, no wires. Every drift, every jump over a bridge or crashing through a fence was real car, real person, real speed. Hundreds of Dodge Chargers were destroyed. Just a jump off by a few centimeters could flip the car like a toy, while the driver was suspended between life and death. After the accident, the crew had to tighten all safety protocols. But everyone understood Rodney's accident was a cruel warning that the line between film and tragedy is only a split second away. And these are only the losses behind the scenes, because next there is a character that seems one way but is actually another. 3. Denver Pile. Uncle Jesse was a real-life oil millionaire.
I wonder where that dang Bo and Luke are.
Oh, Uncle Jesse, they're gonna be here. You know how they are.
Sure, I know how they are. That's why I'm worried.
Just looking at the screen, everyone thinks Denver Pyle is the perfect image of Uncle Jesse. A strict farmer, Uncle Faded Shirt driving an old pickup living off a small farm and rustic wisdom. That image was so real that many viewers believed it was his real life. But in reality, it was completely different. Outside the stage lights, Denver Pyle was a major player in the oil industry. He had a bold investment strategy, buying abandoned oil wells when oil was only about $2 per barrel, almost free. Then he patiently waited. When the 1973 oil crisis erupted, prices skyrocketed. Combined with new extraction technology, the dead wells came back to life, gushing like black gold. The result was enormous profits, earning respect even from seasoned Texas billionaires. Interestingly, acting income for Pyle only served as cash flow to rotate capital. His real wealth was in secret oil deals. And he was not only rich but also extremely generous. Pyle founded Uncle Jesse's Fishing Tournament, a charity fishing competition that raised millions of USD for children's programs, turning the on-screen, kind uncle image into real life. Perhaps it is this contrast that makes Denver Pyle's story, shocking the poorest character on the Dukes of Hazzard on screen, was one of the wealthiest offset. And if you think this is unbelievable, wait until you meet the real-life boss, Boss Hogg. You will be even more surprised. 4. Sorrel Book. Boss Hogg was an academic and intelligence genius.
Roscoe!
What?
Don't tell me you're siding with them Dukes.
Yes.
On screen, Sorrel Book is Boss Hogg, the corrupt politician, big belly, bright, white suit, both funny and irritating to viewers, but in real life, this person had a resume that stunned anyone who heard it. Book was high school valedictorian, entered Columbia University at 16, then earned a master's degree at Yale, two of the most elite schools in America. Afterward, he joined the military and became an intelligence officer in the Korean War, a job requiring cunning sharpness and extraordinary memory. He mastered 6 languages: English, French, Japanese, Spanish, Russian, Italian, and could read many others like Arabic, Mandarin, Swedish, more than a professional diplomat. Yet when he played Boss Hogg, Sorrel Book completely erased his intellectual image. He wore a padded suit, extending his waist up to 1.5 meters, spoke in a drawn-out voice, imitating Southern senators, turning Boss Hogg into one of the most ridiculous but memorable characters on American television. He even studied gestures, eye movements, and how to eat fried chicken in a way both funny and authentically Southern. When the Dukes of Hazzard ended, Book did not disappear from entertainment. He became a famous voice actor, voicing numerous cartoons and video games, and could even conduct a symphony orchestra, something few in Hollywood could do. And if Boss Hogg was cunning on screen, General Lee in real life also had a mechanical secret, enough to leave you speechless. 5. General Lee had to be weighted with cement to jump.
Look! Hang on!
On screen, General Lee raced like an orange rocket, jumping over broken bridges, deep rivers, or warehouse roofs, then landed perfectly as if it were normal. But the truth behind it was far from perfect. The 1969 Dodge Charger carried a death sentence in design. The front was extremely heavy. This meant that whenever it left the ground, it almost certainly nosedived, pointing straight down like a giant bullet and crushing itself in screeching steel. Stunt drivers and the mechanical team had to do something no one had ever thought of: sandbags, steel boxes, even blocks of cement into the trunk. Not to block bullets, but to make the rear heavier, forcing the car to lift its nose in the air and land on the rear wheels first. It sounds like a clever engineering trick, but in reality, it was a deadly gamble. Because even with that cement armor, many shots still ended in chaos, landing off balance, spinning mid-air, or hitting the ground hard enough to twist the chassis like a tin can. Every time the camera shouted action, the crew knew well that General Lee might never drive again, yet they kept doing it over and over. because General Lee's jumps were the soul of the show, the moments that thrilled the audience, and also killed hundreds of priceless classic Chargers. And that is not even the full truth hidden behind the scenes. 6. Contract battles caused the two main actors to leave the show. In 1982, the Dukes of Hazzard was at the height of fame. Ratings peaked. Merchandise, from General Lee models posters, t-shirts to bedding sets, sold like wildfire, earning over $190 million USD in 1981 alone. But amid that glory, two stars, John Schneider, Bo Juke, and Tom Wopat, Luke Duke discovered a bitter truth. They hardly received a fair share from that mountain of money. Both demanded CBS share the profits fairly. The network's cold refusal sparked a war. Schneider and Wopat left the set just before season 5 began filming, leaving a huge gap in the cast. In panic, the producers released a patch solution introducing two new characters, Cousins Coy and Vance Duke. But viewers were not easily fooled. Ratings plummeted. Fans sent complaint letters, even boycotted the show. Newspapers at the time called it the biggest casting disaster of 1980s television. After only 19 episodes, CBS had to back down, re-sign contracts, and bring Schneider and Wopat back. Episodes with Coy and Vance were treated as non-existent, not referenced, not remembered, as if it was a nightmare both the network and viewers wanted to bury. But the story about money and rights did not stop there, because behind it was an even more intense merchandise rights drama. 7. Merchandise, copyright drama worth tens of millions USD. Imagine being the main actor in a hit TV series. Your face name, even your posture, is printed on everything, from car models, lunchboxes, t-shirts to bright orange bedding. Millions of products are sold, money flows to the network like a flood, but your account barely moves. The actors of the Dukes of Hazzard experienced exactly that. The show was a money printing machine thanks to massive merchandise. General Lee models lunchboxes, toys, clothes, posters. Anything that could have the logo or image of this legendary car became a commodity. But their original contracts barely allowed significant revenue share. According to some crew members, some only realized the true value of the merchandise when internal sales reports leaked out. From then on, resentment simmered, accumulating over seasons. Many became frustrated, talked about leaving the show, even consulted lawyers to claim rights. The backstage atmosphere shifted from fun to tense. When it exploded, it became a major strike, causing John Schneider and Tom Wopat to leave the set, directly linked to the contract battle mentioned earlier. If Money was a silent battle behind the scenes, outside the show also faced another extremely fierce bomb. 8. Confederate flag on the roof caused major controversy. On the roof of General Lee, the iconic car of the Dukes of Hazzard, was a feature both prominent and dangerous, the giant Confederate flag. In the 70s and 80s, it was seen as a proud mark of the South, a symbol of rebellious spirit against oppressive power. Viewers then saw the flag and immediately thought of Bo and Luke Duke, daredevils defying every law. But more than 30 years later, its meaning completely reversed. By the 2010s, the Confederate flag was seen as a symbol of racism, political extremism, and far-right movements. What was once a memory mark for millions of fans became a political bomb. And General Lee, once a pop culture pride, was now scrutinized where every look, every comment smelled of gunpowder. In 2015, Warner Bros. Made a decision that shocked the fan community permanently, ending all merchandise featuring this flag. Immediately, after major TV channels stopped broadcasting the show, fans were furious, split into two intense camps. One side saw it as necessary to remove a discriminatory symbol, the other as a stab to the legacy they loved. John Schneider, Bo Juke, could not hide his anger. When I was a kid, it symbolized standing up against the system, not discrimination. Labeling the show as racist because of the flag hurts me, and this is still not the biggest crack in the show's image. Behind the wings, there are still secrets that even the most loyal fans would be shocked to learn. 9. John Schneider lied to get the role of Bo Juke. That year, John Schneider was only 18 from Mount Kisco, New York, far from the South geographically and culturally. In the eyes of producers, he had no Southern quality to play Bo Juke, the cowboy driving General Lee as if born to live on red dirt roads. But instead of accepting failure, Schneider decided to create a new persona. He made up an entire fake character for auditions, claimed to be 24, drove an old pickup straight into the studio gate, grew a few days of stubble, wore a faded cowboy hat, wrinkled shirt, and most importantly, spoke in a thick Southern accent as if he had lived in Georgia all his life. When asked about his hometown, he answered without hesitation, Snailville, Georgia, a town that did not exist. Schneider maintained this role from entering the studio to leaving, revealing no gaps. The result? He fully convinced the producers and got the role of Bo Juke, even though he had never touched the General Lee's steering wheel before. In fact, Schneider knew nothing about stunt driving. After getting the role, he had to rush into intensive training, learn drifting tightly around corners, jump over obstacles, and perform window climbs. A seemingly easy move that could dislocate shoulders if done incorrectly. Once, he almost fell from General Lee while driving just because his foot got stuck in the steering wheel. All these risks and tricks not only made Schneider into Bo Juke on screen, but also turned his casting story into one of the most daring and bold tales in American TV history. Can you imagine that the most adored actor in this series is the car? 10. General Lee received more fan mail than the entire cast. While Bo Luke or Daisy received thousands of letters every month, General Lee outperformed them all. At its peak, fan mail to the Dukes of Hazzard reached 60,000 letters per month, and more than half were addressed to a car. Children wrote letters asking for specifications, blueprints, photos from every angle. Adults inquired to buy the car, offered to trade rare collectibles. There were even strange letters where writers confided in General Lee as if it were a friend, a hero, or even a soulmate who listens. For Warner Brothers, General Lee had surpassed the concept of prop. It was a superstar of the show, a real money-making machine boosting both ratings and merchandise sales. Every photo, every model, every souvenir with General Lee sold out in record time. Ironically, in a show full of memorable characters, the one who captured the audience's heart was not a person, but a block of orange steel number 01 on the door and a horn playing Dixie every time it jumped across the Hazzard sky. The Dukes of Hazzard was not just a TV series, it was a part of American pop culture. From the Dixie horn every time General Lee flew across the screen to breathless chases. The show gave audiences worldwide excitement, humor, and unforgettable characters. But behind the stage lights and laughter, as we have just seen, was a treasure trove of shocking stories. Dodge Chargers worth a fortune destroyed mercilessly. Real accidents causing deaths. Tens of millions USD contract and copyright disputes. Unexpected personal secrets of the cast. And a visual icon capable of controversy for decades. That is why the Dukes of Hazzard is still mentioned after more than 40 years. Not only for the entertainment it brought, but also because the behind-the-scenes stories could leave even loyal fans speechless. This show was the perfect combination of action humor, character, personality, and a bit of dangerous recklessness, which made it an irreplaceable legend. If you find these secrets interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we have the motivation to continue digging, discovering untold stories about other legendary films. Who knows? Maybe your favorite movie is also hiding truths you would not believe.